The DMK is out, the SP is acting tough, and the government has been left to do some major firefighting. There's been an all-party meeting called today to resolve the Sri Lanka impasse, but as the politics in New Delhi takes new twists and turns, on We Mean Business tonight, we debate whether instability at the centre will seriously undermine the government's reform agenda and scuttle the chances of a speedy economic recovery. Good evening, I'm Nikhil Namdar, and on the show with me, Vikram Singh Mehta, former chairman of Shell, Mr. Ajay Dua, former Secretary, Commerce and Industry, Neerja Chowdhury, political analyst, Thomas Richardson, senior resident representative India at the International Monetary Fund, and Madan Sabnavis, chief economist, Care Ratings, all of them joining in. We'll get to the discussion in just a bit, but here's a word coming in from two of India's foremost economists, Dr. Sujit Bhalla and Sajid Chinoy of JP Morgan, on how they're looking at the political scenario and its potential impact on the economy.
The probability of this government lasting till next May, I think, has suddenly dropped from 100% to at least 50%, to no more than 50%. We've got to put ourselves into a political mode. So if you were the opposition, why would you necessarily go along with the government? Even the RBI is not going along with the government. So why would you pass bills? Why would you say that, listen, the worst thing to happen if you are the opposition, and therefore, you will try and obstruct and not pass them now. And, this is a lame duck government. So there is no reason to pass the bills. There's no reason to go out in a hurry and buy the market or pass some bills. So I think passing of bills is going to be that much more difficult. Now, if you want a silver lining, the silver lining is the crazy bills that this government has had a tendency to introduce, and now the food security bill, which is nothing short of a crazy bill, that won't get passed. So at least there's some silver lining with what's happening.
Political instability and uncertainty will not be helpful, but I think the risk is more external. I think the worry is, we live with a very bloated current account deficit. It's about $90 billion this year. Most estimates have it at about the same level next year. So we're very dependent on external capital flows and external portfolio flows, equity, debt, trade credits. And so perception matters. And the worry is that if you have a sense of rising political uncertainty at home, some of the constructive policy environment is compromised in the process, then some of these capital flows may dry up, and that'll put great pressure on the current account and on the currency. So I think that's really the concern, that perception will matter when you have such a large external imbalance.
All right, we'll talk about the economic risks through the course of the show, but let's begin with the politics of it all. And Neerja Chowdhury, let's start, in fact, with what happened yesterday. The DMK pulled out, many saying this is, in fact, political posturing. But even if this is, in fact, political posturing, could this, in some sense, signal the sort of pre-election instability that could grip the country and the potential economic fallout of it all?
Look, yesterday, the DMK withdrew support to the Congress. Of course, there are efforts going on, all-party meet is going on to see whether a resolution in Parliament can be brought which can satisfy them. This I find is very, very unlikely, because the DMK has pitched things very high. Now, with the Trinamool Congress having pulled out of the coalition earlier, the DMK now, it leaves the government quite precarious, no matter what Mr. Chidambaram, the finance minister, Mr. Kamal Nath, parliamentary affairs minister, have to say. And the last few hours developments only underscored that point. This morning when Mr. Kamal Nath, Mr. Chidambaram met and addressed a press conference, they were pretty confident because they had the support of the Samajwadi Party and the Bahujan Samaj Party, who said yesterday that their support to the government continued. This was a story at 10. By noon, the story seemed to have changed, because Mulayam Singh Yadav, who had called for the apology of a minister who called him a terrorist, etc. in Parliament, he expressed regret. Sonia Gandhi went up to Mulayam Singh and said his view did not reflect the view of the government, and we thought the storm had died down. And Mulayam Singh would continue with his support. He may continue with his support, but he would be happy to accept this. But Mulayam Singh Yadav is not happy to do that. He's saying he's neither happy nor unhappy, leaving his options open. I think that is the way things are now going to be. Every day will bring a new demand from these smaller regional parties at whose mercy the government is going to be. They will extract their pound of flesh at every turn from the ruling party for their support, and that makes, you can call it a lame duck government or not, but that makes for a very uncertain kind of situation. As of now, I don't think the Samajwadi Party is interested in pulling the plug and bringing down the government and bringing on elections, but we don't, at least the budget session, it seems, will go through. But come end May,
how real is the possibility? How real is the possibility of early elections? Do you agree with Surjit Bhalla when he says that it seemed like a virtual impossibility probably a month ago, but at least a 50% possibility now?
Past the budget session, anything can happen, number one. Number two, you can wait for after withdrawal of support, you can hold elections within 6 months. So most people are looking at a scenario where elections may well be held in November of this year.